long post alert here, but hang in there. You've probably heard about this massive acquisition of Anywhere Real Estate by Compass. Anywhere owns and operates Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Corcoran Group, Better Homes and Gardens, and Sotheby's. And for the agent on the street here in Canada, this probably is of no consequence yet. But hear me out here. I've been saying since the beginning of the year that our industry would be marked by mergers and acquisitions. And as it turns out, unscheduled closures like we saw at iPro Realty. And don't think for a second that Anywhere had a choice but to sell. They were mired in debt, over $3 billion in debt, over $2 billion just from the Century 21 brand alone. Why? Well, the traditional brokerage model has faced higher costs and thinning margins for years. And when the market turned into negative territory, there are a few ways to turn a profit. They faced increased competition from both the cap and rev share models as well as the flat fee brokerages. Now, it should be noted that while gaining massive efficiencies, estimates are they will be able to shave off $225 million in redundancies and operating expenses from this new merger. Remember that U.S. brokerages make money in ancillary services like mortgage and title businesses that we simply just don't do here in Canada. And this is best demonstrated by the last big acquisition in the U.S. between Rocket Mortgage and Redfin. So how does the fourth biggest real estate company in the U.S. buy the number one company? Compass worked hard to establish themselves as a tech company, not a real estate company. So their valuation was considerably higher on Wall Street. Anywhere with 300,000 agents was worth about $1.6 billion to Compass, a company worth 3 times as much. And this new behemoth will control 25% of the U.S. transactions in the U.S. and will do nearly 1 million transactions across the globe. Imagine that American Airlines was just created. Who's going to compete with them? Who's going to be the next Delta or United? Because they'll also have to be huge. Now, despite their collective size, there's still one real estate company that is even bigger. Plus, they are currently sitting at they have about $1.1 billion in cash right now. Any guesses? Well, if you guessed Zillow, you'd be right. Could Zillow become a brokerage? They've already demonstrated their lead generation abilities, and since agents make a lot of money from those leads, it's not a stretch to assume that they would join Zillow. So as you can see, there are a lot of moving parts here. But why is this important to us here in Canada? Well, simple. This signifies a shift in our industry and puts massive pressure on boutique and mom and pop brokerages. Big companies have economies of scale. They can invest in technologies and they can operate more efficiently. Small brokerages with an exceptional competitive advantage, maybe led by incredibly talented leadership, may survive a little bit longer on their own, but in the end are fighting the double whammy of spending more to keep their model competitive in a shrinking margin environment while competing with deep-pocketed cap and rev share models and flat fee models. So if you're a small brokerage, how do you protect the footprint that you built? What's the best path of growth? Because I would say that if you made less money this year than you did last year, you're going to make even less this year. So your window of opportunity is closing fast. Your value is diminishing at a time when there's increased scrutiny on our industry from the regulator and FinTrack police and just rapidly increasing costs. Now is the time to align yourself with a growing company. I mean, the reason you went out on your own was because you wanted autonomy to carve your own path. You were looking for excitement and growth opportunities. But now we are entering in this arms race of sorts, which we never thought was going to happen, where only the strong will survive. And if you're looking for an exit strategy, we should talk. Reach out to me and let me show you how I can help you grow your business.